Today's task, which was going to be yesterday's task, but is now going to be today's task, is take this big gray thing and this blue-green thing and put them together, because I finally, after years of searching, got the exact same set of drawers. Been looking for one forever. This handle was attached just by one spot weld, so I riveted that one. These 4 drawers were missing them all together. I had a bunch of these brass number tags, so I just drilled and I bent them, drilled and tapped them, or drilled and riveted them rather, and lost a bunch of footage yesterday where I talked about this. I had one drawer, which is this one right here. You can see where the paint's gone. This drawer had a sticky substance in it that finally took acetone to get it to break down and come out of there. But when this gets loaded up, I'm going to do my level best to load it up way more organized than various size bolts in one little bin. So the plan is this. I have 2 more pieces of this really thick Lexan. See, what is it? 3/8? I think it's 3/8 Lexan versus the 3/16. That's on this. That doesn't cover the whole thing. So everything is coming off of here, including the vise and the wire wheel, and even that. And I'll explain that. The entire workbench is going to be moved out a little bit, and the piece of Lexan that's going to go down here, I'm going to leave it as deep as I possibly can, because right now, if you look at this, about half of it is hanging off the back edge. So if we come over here and we take a look, should have enough light, but you can see I've got this workbench out and have that Lexan up against the back of the wall, just to give more depth. The reason I need more depth, well, let me show you. I need more depth. I can't pull these 2 drawers all the way out. And I have the same problem over here with this older shallow bin. And I want to be able to maintain keeping the vise and the wire brush here, as well as have both of these bins on. Now, I am 8 inches wider on the bins than the overall length of this workbench. This workbench is shorter than that one down there. We'll go ahead and grab the tape measure here. Yeah, I'm left-handed, so I always have to read upside down. We're at 5 feet on this one. And then we add these 2 together, and I'm at 5 feet 8 inches. So, not a big deal. The piece of plexiglass I'm going to put down is the same length as this piece here. Excuse me, Lexan. Let me move this bag out of the way. I've got 7'3" so I'm not going to need all of it, obviously, but I am going to extend it. This will allow plenty of support, plus it's a thicker Lexan, and it will allow me to overlap a little here and overlap a little over there and still have the whole thing supported. So that's kind of the game plan. Plus, when I get this piece of plexiglass off, you can see underneath there, you know, the wood's nice and clean and pretty good shape. Over here, where we have none, it's gotten kind of dirty. So I'm going to do my best to just level that out and make it look a little better. I'll grab my belt sander out and make a big old dusty mess. But then it's going to pose a little bit of a problem. That's going to be accessing my angle grinders and my pipe wrenches, because that Lexan will be sticking out further. So I think I'm going to go ahead and add another tool-ish to the shop, which is going to be one of those magnificent angle grinder holders that people are making and selling on Etsy and places like that. So I'll find one that'll hold 4, because I do have 4. I only have 3 hanging there. And then comes the problem, where am I going to hang it? Well, I'll worry about that after I get it. Then we look here, we have a piece of Schedule 80 pipe that is holding the bottom of this cabinet up. The reason it's holding the bottom of this cabinet up is the cabinet's well secured to the wall, but the problem is just this center droops. So if I take that pipe out, my doors don't line up, the latches don't line up, and so I can't keep the doors shut. I'm probably going to go with a piece of flat stock here. That way I can get the 2 benches really close together to one another. And also, it's just peace of mind. It's keeping, because there's an awful lot of weight in there. And on top. I will also at some point tackle the face of this. It's just basically a cobbled up catch-all mess, mainly with magnets. We'll figure something else out as far as that goes. And then as far as everything we've got up here, I'll pull it all down and go through it. But now we're going back to the reason why I need another storage rack like that. Because of things like that. All the boxes up there, they're hard to access. I'd rather have easy access to that kind of thing. And same thing with engines. I mean, I've got these 2 engines sitting out in the open, but I've got engines tucked all back in there, all tucked back in underneath. I've got all these engines here on these racks, and these racks are also, they're not going to go away, but we're going to rethink it. Then that cabinet's been there since I got the shop. I just left it up there, and it holds my starters and my grease for my grease guns and stuff like that. But herein lies the issue with that. It's not easy to get to. So I want to eliminate all of the clutter. All right, maybe not all of it, because you know that's part of the Zippo Ranch is having this organized chaos in here. But we've been going on for almost 10 minutes now, so this will probably be a two-part video. I may set up the camera and do a time lapse of me just getting everything pulled off of here, getting the wire wheel off, getting the vise off, getting everything prepped, cleaning up that side of the wood, getting the Lexan cut to size, because they're odd sizes. They have 2 square edges and 2 edges that are not square, so they have to be squared up. And I've had them for a very long time. We'll get out here and climb through stuff and take a look. Just step down here into the old gray 1958 Sears tent camper. I just found a keychain. Nope. Or whatever it is. Oh, it's a Missinawa Tavern, Eaton, Indiana. That's funny. Underneath this mess, and this is another Achilles heel. Something else that needs all cleaned up. But I have 2 pieces here of that Lexan, and we'll grab the most appropriate piece after I unbury it. Then we'll get it cleaned off. We'll get the sawhorses out and get it trimmed down. That stuff is not easy to cut. I am here to tell you. But we'll get it done. So, what do you say we just get onto the time lapse and me getting that workbench cleaned off and cleared off? We'll see you guys. Well, I totally forgot to do the time lapse, but we're not done. So, I'll try to remember the time lapse again. Maybe. Bench is cleared off. You can see this whole part here is plenty clean, just dirty from that'll all clean it. Well, no, maybe it won't. No, it's dirty under there too. Just gonna do a quick refinish, and really all I do is pour mineral spirits on and then just take a scraper and scrape. I don't like to take too much material off of these old rock maple workbenches, so it'll be cleaner, but I don't think I'll break out the belt sander, take any material off of it. We'll just clean her up a little bit. Yeah, I don't want to hear it. I know I said I wasn't going to. But I want it to look nice underneath there. Now this right here, pawn shop find about, let's see, I imagine it was probably, well, you guys aren't even looking at me. Come on now, pay attention. Looks like I've got, nope, it's fine. This belt sander was on the clearance aisle because it wouldn't turn on. It was just a switch. Switch cost me, I think, about $14, $15 at the time. And I paid a whopping $5 for it. And I've used the snot out of this thing over the years. So we're going to use it some more. I know I said I wasn't going to sand, but I can't put a piece of plexiglass on a table that looks like, you guys aren't looking again. Here, this way you'll watch. I can't not do something about that. So I'm going to go ahead and drag the belt sander over it a bit. I've got to charge or swap batteries on the camera, but I'll do another time lapse here on me sanding the top of this. We'll get it close to even, so hang on. Not perfect, but it looks better. And yeah, I caved, but and broke a few belts in the process. They kept loading up real bad, you see, and then I would snap them. But that's good enough for me. Now, it needs to come out away from the wall a little bit more, and I've got to do some measurements. And the measurements are going to allow me to determine the size of the Lexan, depth-wise, that is. That's better than it was, right? I'm probably covered in dust too. Let's see. You guys can tell me if I am or not. Let's see. Is that any better? So yeah, this really thin stuff here, it's going away. We're going to put the heavy stuff in here. But like I said, well, the reason I have to move the desk out is, or the workbench out, is so that I can get these drawers opened all the way up without the wire brush motor or the vise impeding or encroaching or getting in the way of, pick your own word, getting in the way of the drawers. So I'm going to do some measuring, and I've also got to see how wide, how deep my Lexan is. That may be a limiting factor also. We're going to run the I went ahead and cleaned the front edge up a little bit too, just because I could. Like I said, we're going to run the Lexan over on both sides to support the 8-inch overhang. We have 4 inches on either side. 4 inch one way, 4 inches the other way. And but we'll get it figured. And this box here will be coming off. That's not going to come off today. Mainly today I just want to get that piece of Lexan figured out, and it may or may not end up on there before the end of the day, because the day is getting long in the tooth and it's Friday. I've got a few things to do in town, so why don't we do this? We got this far, all right? We're going to go ahead and call it. We'll call this one good for part 1 of the engine workbench reorganization. Wait, I mean, it looks a lot longer than it is. It's only 5 feet long. It's just the way, it's just the, now you can see, yeah, just 5 feet. I'll show you. I'll even do it right-handed so you guys can see. I'm pretty sure I already did this, but right there, right at 60 inches. It'd been nice if it was as big as that one, but I'd have to cut a bunch of it down. I'd have to cut it. I'd have to shorten it. So anyway, we're going to call it Friendly Neighborhood Zippo. I appreciate you guys following along. We've gotten a lot of great feedback on it. And any ideas for organization that you want to throw out to me, I've had a couple. Go ahead. I'll listen to them. They may be better than mine. Now, before we close, I want to talk about this masonry brush. I was so proud of myself. I like my magnets. I like hanging stuff from magnets. I've got a nice strong magnet right here, and I wanted to hang this brush from a magnet. So I thought, well, a couple of roofing nails and that'll take care of that. Whew. That's a case of thinking outside the box before looking inside the box. Let me turn this around and face the nails outward. Okay, nails are facing outward. Yeah. These barrels are steel. I didn't have to put nails in it. But just for spite, I'm still mounting them to the roof. I'm still mounting it to the roofing nails. Got a little bit of dust and stuff to clean up and blow off. But this is your friendly neighborhood Zippo. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Like I said, if you have any suggestions, please do feel free. Hit me up in the comments. And we'll see you on the next one. Later. I'm out of here.